call this meeting to order. This is the Finance Committee meeting. Today is October 14th, right at 6 o'clock. So today in attendance, we have Paul Benjamin, myself, Amy Fiden. We have Peter Matusko. We have Andy Kopacki, and we have a new member, which is Paul McCretsky. We also have in the audience today, we have our moderator, Kurt Watley. And Alex is here. And we're just a small meeting that we're going to kind of review the warrant and the budget. We were given the budget numbers on October 1st for us to look through and quick, that's what was presented by Linda on how we are going to handle the budget on October 1st. The following meeting for the select board, they were given the warrant, and so this is our first look at the warrant today. And here in the warrant, we have some things that we talk about bylaws. We also have some things that talk about capital items. We have, and Paul is on bylaw and capital. And then we have Andy, who is on CPA because.
Both Pauls are on capital. That's right.
Oh, yeah, the other Paul.
The other Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a Paul.
Two Pauls.
That's
Okay,
right.
and then we have Andy, who is on
That's why I get confused.
the CPA. But before we jump in, can we just get the minutes out of the way?
Yes.
So, do I?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 24th, 2025 of the Finance Committee.
Second.
All right, so we have a first by Paul Benjamin. I'm gonna have to use.
Yeah, you're gonna have to,
Yes.
you can say Paul B and
Yeah, Paul M.
PM,
And then.
PB and PM. Is that all right?
Right, no problem.
And then a second by
Call first.
Peter. So all in favor?
Aye.
Great.
All right.
I must say
One
that
down.
is the longest set of minutes that I have seen in quite a while. I was reading and reading and reading and reading, and then, it was.
Peter takes very good minutes. He
No, he
goes
really
through
does.
and he gets all kinds of stuff. And I like to see when I read his, because it's a point of view of someone that is watching the meeting,
Right.
which is, sometimes you might think you're saying something and I might mean something, but this is what they're interpreting by a point of view by someone watching the meeting. So I think it's pretty good. I like his minutes.
That's a
Yeah,
great,
well,
that's a
also
great service.
if you watch the meetings, the closed captioning follows it too, because you can go in and double check against that too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Anyway,
It's a very valuable service, thank you. It's,
Yeah.
having had to transcribe meetings in the past.
Yes.
It's
Painful.
They get very short after a while.
All right.
Town warrant?
So do we want to do the warrant or do we want to do the budget?
Let's do the warrant first.
Warrant first.
Okay. Now, I don't necessarily know if we want to, this is something we can discuss. Maybe we go through the whole thing and look at it, and then if we are comfortable, this is our first view at it,
Yeah.
right? So we, usually we would get several looks at it, or we would at least know what's on it, but this is our very first view of it. So if we're comfortable and we don't have any questions, at the end, maybe we go through and we decide we put votes on.
Yeah, I think some of these might require additional clarification from.
We have a buy board tomorrow, so.
Yeah, the DPW director and, this expounding on what some of them are.
Because a lot of it's on water and sewer.
Yeah, chapter 90. I think.
So I just don't want to feel like we have to do something, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with going through it tonight, marking out any questions we have, and then whether we have another meeting where we call in somebody for clarification, or if DPW is gonna be there tomorrow night, because we're gonna have a buy board meeting, they may have the same questions. This is really in a sense.
Well, we can get our questions answered. I don't necessarily know if we'll want to
Vote.
do voting tomorrow
No,
night.
that's right. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem one way
Aren't
or
they
the other.
yeah, I was gonna say, aren't they voting on it tomorrow night? No more?
They probably are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this
But
is a
this
lot
is-
to go through, and because I
Yeah.
was questioning a lot of these things.
Right, so I mean, I don't feel like we should have to, and worst case scenario, we don't put recommendations on and we recommend on the floor.
Yeah,
Because if we don't have the time to approve them, I'd rather not approve than to do something hasty and just approve if we don't have all our information, so. All right, let's start with, probably number 2, because the budget is number 1. So, on number 2, I guess the 2 Pauls can, whoever wants to talk about number 2, the best of your knowledge, or if, however you want to handle it.
Well, he's chair of the committee, so,
Oh, okay,
but I mean, this is what was approved. This is the vote we did the other night.
Yes.
Right, so,
So-
I think I have that here somewhere.
okay. So, if you want to go through these items, Paul, maybe,
Okay, I'll
and say
go-
what you, say
go-
some things, and then the other Paul can
Yeah.
chime in.
Sure, and the other Paul, please jump in at any time because I can't remember exactly every little detail on each
Yeah.
proposal, but
This was the printout the other day.
yes.
Oh,
Okay, and we did ask questions about them, and I believe they all, I don't mean to take your,
No, no, no.
they were all either in the budget, they were all in either enterprise funds, or they were already in the levy, or there were a couple very small ones that went into, they thought they could squeeze through in free
Free
cash
cash.
without, busting the free cash budget. I think there was a couple that were like $5,000 or $10,000 ones. So none of these affected tax rate at all. They were all covered in terms of either existing levy or the free cash. None of them required like an override situation.
The vast majority came out of, like you mentioned, enterprise funds,
Enterprise
one of those
needs,
3
yeah.
enterprise funds.
Yeah, and a couple of them also were tied to, I believe there were some matching grants that they were being tied to as well.
okay.
Do we even know how much we have of free cash?
No, they don't know the exact amount, but they do know it'll be, like at least 200 to 300,000 is I think what's being estimated. And if the revenues from, again, we're not gonna be getting much back, as I understand it, free cash comes from 2 sources for the most part. Pull back from, leftover money in the accounts, or increases in the tax revenue, the local stuff that we get to keep, which is
Local estimated receipts.
receipts. And if those go up beyond what was budgeted, then we end up with a little bit more free cash. The problem, of course, is that right now, the 870 something that was part of the 26 budget is gone, but I believe there's gonna be a little bit more that they were estimating. I mean, at one point, they thought it might be as high as, 400? Was between 3 and 4 was the
Yeah.
number that was going to
Yeah.
be passed around. I think we're still maybe in that range. Because I think the hotel revenues were up a little bit. I think it was like 70,000 that somebody said might be coming in higher than expected. So, I think in this meeting, Linda, I can't remember which ones were gonna go out of free cash, but it was, if I remember, it was like there were 1 or 2 of them that were like 5,000 or 12,000.
Garage doors.
Garage door, right,
Coming out
right.
of free cash.
Right, and he says both. were-
Ballistic vests too.
Yeah, ballistic vests, yeah.
And also, well, I don't know if you want to go down in sequential, I could go down each item, or I don't know how you want to do it, Paul, but
But I had a question, when it comes to the free cash, what happens to those positions that haven't been filled? Or the people that have left?
Like, where does that money go?
Where does that money go? Say if there's a half a salary that somebody left, and say you got an $80,000 salary, they were here for 6 months, you got
Right,
another.
and they left, so we don't have any unemployment.
Right, nothing to pay, and we got another
Right.
40,000, does that go into free cash?
That goes back to free cash, that's
Okay,
like
it
a
does.
pullback, right.
Okay.
Right. Oh, and one thing you might want to do, which between now and then is, that meeting was recorded, wasn't it? And it was not a very long meeting.
Which one, Capital?
The capital, yeah.
was, it was recorded.
It was recorded.
Yeah, I watched it.
So if you
It was-
go through it, basically, they went through every single item there, so you could get at least initial questions answered, which, if you're satisfied with what you hear, then it'll save us time in another meeting, but again, if you have more questions that come out of it, but I would strongly advise you that must be posted already.
And we were under 1 hour.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
really short meeting.
50 minutes.
Yeah, and of course, when you're doing the recording, you can kind of skip ahead if you
Yeah,
see
of
where it's
course.
talking about minutes
A
and
week
stuff
ago.
like that.
A week ago?
Yeah.
Is that
So we might as well start from the top.
Yeah, the building demolition. Now,
Okay, that's for the property.
that,
Yeah, I remember that.
Scott addressed that, the property that the town purchased for a potential future DPW building, so they need to take that building down that they acquired. So
Mhm.
that's what that is for.
It is I mean, having been on the DPW building committee, you can add that, you know, there is certainly concern of liability there.
Mhm.
It has to be abated, you know, there's asbestos and probably lead in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That taken out. There was some thought to just kicking it around, that once it was abated and prepared properly before it was actually crunched up and put in a dumpster, that maybe the fire crew could have some training,
Practice.
cutting the roof or cutting the side, that type of thing. But it would be demolished to take away the liability that is sitting there. Remember, there was a squatter sitting in there before that the town had to spend some money on removing.
Mhm.
So we want to avoid a rerun of that.
Yep.
So it really, the bottom line is it really needs to come down.
Yep.
Well, I'm just looking, because we could be seeing and looking at all these things, I see borrow, borrow, borrow. Okay, how much is the total that we would be borrowing from? And for how long, how much?
Well, some of them, they're all different, because some of them will be from sewer, some are from water, some are from the general fund.
Right, I mean, the first three you're saying is the building, chapter 90, the bridge.
Those will be from the general,
Okay,
it looks like, because it
And
doesn't
that's all
say.
within the levy too, it's not
Yeah.
debt excluded.
okay.
And so, Peter, to answer that question though, too, Linda was addressing that, because I was thinking, well, the minimum term would be 5 years, but she said typically they've been paying down about $500,000 a year in advance, so they don't have to borrow out for 5 years or more for some of these. So
Okay.
I think that may still be her game plan too, if I understood her correctly. And so it would leave, it was a small amount, she was talking about under 200,000 in total
Okay,
that would have to be borrowed.
okay.
For a while, what we were doing, it seems like we didn't have any money in capital, and the debt exclusions weren't going well. So we were putting extra money into the budget for debt and interest, paying extra on that line item. She was paying the money down, and all our capital we were borrowing. I felt like we were about 500,000, we were, that's how much we were using a year.
And just to
So-
give a historical perspective, when I first got onto capital, we used to, it was like an unwritten rule in Hadley that all the meals tax money would be earmarked for capital. And that was going really well for years, but then that was taken away from us, and it was diverted to other parts of the budget.
What's your thoughts about putting it back in?
I would love to see that happen again. And, you know, I wasn't really too pleased when that happened. And David Nixon was the administrator at the time, and we had a discussion about that, but he said, you know, we needed it for other reasons.
Right.
Wasn't that how it was originally sold to the town,
Yeah, well.
back in the?
I think we need to, we've talked about it for a long time. We need to come up with some policies, and there was policies at one point that we had done with free cash, with stabilization, that select board took on these policies.
Mhm.
I think we need to talk about them again, same with OPEB. And what we need to do is, if we can balance it right, then we can use, instead of using the free cash to balance our budget, we can use the free cash to be putting into the capital fund.
Yeah, we should have this on an agenda, this kind of discussion, shouldn't we?
Yeah, well, we
Just-
could, yeah.
Just so we don't get caught with
So it's
Yeah.
the capital, but
future,
that's.
future discussion.
Future
Okay.
capital
Okay.
policies, yeah. So, okay, so does anybody have any more questions on the building? No? So it looks like.
Second item is the highway, that's an annual item. Chapter 90 money comes in every year for the various road projects or equipment. And so this is a supplemental amount, because the amount that they get, according to Scott, isn't sufficient, so this would help bolster that for various projects.
Is that included with for the winter, or is that just whatever road repairs?
It's not it's not like salt and stuff like
Okay,
that. no.
I didn't know if that
No,
was.
no,
No, it's-
no, it's
it's
repair.
both.
This is actual, chapter 90 is repairing roads.
Roads and equipment.
Stay out of the camera, thank you very much.
Feel free to stay.
No, I have kids to pick up. What guys?
Okay, 65. I just want to see how much the total borrowing is going to be. That's 65.
So is there any
plus 350.
projects this is needed for, that they're just asking for $100
It's
grand?
the ongoing, like paving the roads and any equipment that might fall under this. But typically, if I understood Scott correctly, it's all meant for the highways, for the paving projects that are going on.
I think there was one
Road
project,
repairs.
one project, a bridge up in North Hadley, that was
Yes,
specifically being
did
talked about.
talk about that too.
There's a brook that crosses 47 underneath it,
Mhm.
the culvert.
Yeah, I know, again, there was talk about that years ago, that's been going on, but that the state might come in, get involved with that too, since it's a state highway.
Yeah, but I think there's, anyway, I think Scott could shed some more light on it.
Right, because I don't know, just asking for $100 grand is saying, okay, is it just general all road repairs? Because what kind of projects do we have going on right now? I know that there are potholes that we're trying to fix and fill before the winter time. But if there's anything really specific that would help, instead of just asking for $100 grand. But we'll ask him. you know.
Right. Sewer and water and asset management, they're talking about, Paul, can you help me out here, that was for inventory?
Yeah.
Of their,
Yeah, it's basically a study, I
Infrastructure.
believe, of all the infrastructure, so they can determine what is gonna need repair. I mean, we have some really old pipes. That's the big problem, especially I think in the water side, because it's all over the place, the water. And also some of our pump stations need some work. So this is basically something that's, I believe it's required to be done. And I'm not sure if it's every few years they have to do a full
It's like an
inventory.
inventory.
It's an inventory and an assessment of what needs work, what will need work, besides the fact that things just break in general.
Townwide,
Townwide, yeah.
Mhm.
because I know they certainly took advantage of that Route 9 construction.
Yep.
and
Well, we
replaced
did,
that sewer.
we did that over, and then and I believe part of what South Maple was done over, when they did that whole section there, and I don't think it went too far north there, but South Maple, I think also still has some major problems with the water pipes being too small, probably, clogged. But nonetheless, you have to do this, and this goes out of the funds from the enterprise funds.
enterprise, right? So it doesn't hit the tax levy.
Right.
Hopefully we'd be able to get like those things on the list as a priority list as to, here we go, the state is, proposing all these things, do they all have to get done? Is there, calendar dates of when they need to get done by, or they're just telling us, this is what we find that's wrong, you have to change them? Because I was wondering, because I don't know if anybody is paying any attention, but as of beginning of December, our water and sewer rates are gonna be going up a lot. So I didn't know whether or not if we're gonna be borrowing something, knowing that what we're gonna be getting for revenues on water and sewer. Because September's bill is 4.98 for the water side, and it's gonna be going up to 7.7.
Yeah, I think the last bill, if I calculated it right, it was about 10%.
Yeah.
And
But the water side,
And they were
the water
saying-
side does have some money in its reserves, but they're lower than they should be. And the sewer side is almost wiped out.
they're,
And those rates have not gone up in, what, 10 years or something?
yeah, now,
That's going up from 8.87 to 11.98.
Right. It should have gone up every year a little bit for years, and it hasn't. And because of that, they have eaten up all the reserves. So basically, if we have a pipe break, we have an emergency situation, and we don't have any money in the reserve account.
I understand it, but
Right.
are we doing this to borrowing for repairs, for emergencies that could happen, or is this for upgrades? So you're talking about sewer doesn't have any money, So
Well-
there's a difference. Is that gonna be for future repairs, or is this actually, or future emergencies?
Well,
Or-
that's
We're gonna
what-
find out when talking to Scott.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
we really have to talk to Scott.
Right,
to
about
go
all
into
these
this.
things. Because
Well,
if we're getting a bunch of revenues, and I believe it's gonna be more than 10% from the revenues of both water and sewer, do we find out what this next December bill is gonna be? See what our revenues are there, and then think about this, or we just do it right now and vote for it?
We're not gonna vote tonight anyway.
I know that, this is about
Right.
tomorrow.
Right,
Or for
we
the
may not
20
vote tomorrow night.
Right.
But one of the things you might want to do is not just ask Scott to come in, but ask the commissioners of the water, there's people on the water board and there's people on the wastewater board, maybe we should have a joint meeting with them. You know,
Or at least get more
He's the
information.
one who really, he has the nitty gritty.
He has the nitty gritty, but we're a finance committee, and in many respects, we want to oversee how money is spent and how it's anticipated to be spent, and what are the future plans. And so, if the commissioners are the ones that set the rates, or, I know that ultimately the rates got set by the select board, but I'm sure it was based on the needs that the board and Scott put forward, and maybe we should ask them to come as well.
Well,
That
Sue
would be the
Blatsky will
board-
be
that's the board of
she's really
selectmen.
the
Right.
one that we can
They
talk
are.
to.
Just
when
a
it comes
thought.
With the rates,
Board of
because
Commissioners.
she has a whole analysis done.
Yep.
Okay,
There's certainly a lot of moving parts that,
Yeah.
we should be looking long-term. Well, hopefully it's just not, here's the design, here's the next day, we're looking for money for design, we're looking for money for engineering. And then suddenly we should know, like the water tanks, informed on that project here and there, but it's certainly something for, a longer-term project. We should be getting the big picture. What is the big impact on? Some of these projects, we may not want to start initially if we know that, it's going to, like a DPW, is going to come due right at a very bad time. Should we be spending $225,000 for a study just when we're about to, not have enough money to keep going operation?
yeah. So, you want to move to the
Next
garage
one.
door?
Garage doors, actually, that was one, he felt that was so necessary, he gave up a project, I think it was $20,000. In exchange for this, he said they
Yeah,
needed those.
doors not
They Actually
operating.
had a little bit of an incident there with one of the garage doors, so he said he was willing to give up. I don't have the capital sheet with
I
me.
think it was 8,000.
It was a $20,000
Yeah.
project that he.
And he needs 8 for the one door. He would like to do both, but he's, under the circumstance, he said, just give me one of them at least. Okay? But both doors really need to be addressed.
Okay.
And I don't know whether, we don't know whether we're going forward with the DPW complex in 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever, but brand-new doors could probably be transferred from one building to the other ultimately. If they're brand new, I'm sure they could be reinstalled, so
Well, in the meantime, we still need a.
we still need a
Still gotta have the doors.
functional building.
Still have to have a door.
Right.
Liability issue.
Right, well, and I guess the worst of the two is the one he's gonna choose, so.
Okay, all right.
MS4, that's the drainage, waste, not wastewater, but drainage project. I think that's mandated by
Yes.
DEP.
Right.
So we really don't have much of a choice on that.
We have-
Oh, cleaning the catch basins?
That's an annual,
Yeah.
catch basins and other type.
And sweeping, right?
Sweeping
And
is mandated,
Yeah.
I think, what did he say, twice a year?
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of once.
Do we have a sweeper still, or are we gonna be farming that out?
I cannot.
I don't
I
believe
I
we
don't think
still
we have
have
one.
a sweeper, but remember when we went to the pre-treatment and we were never gonna have to sweep sand again?
Right.
Right, we're not
Now the
using-
state's going,
Well,
here
that's
you
what-
go, you gotta sweep.
You gotta
it.
sweep it anyway, yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
well, it's what it is.
Well, we don't do it often, so we definitely don't want a sweeper, and we have companies locally.
Yeah, I think.
Can
that-
we farm it out? Sure.
That could
Yeah.
take care of that.
Sure.
And we have the Water Management Act, and that's a grant, a match. So that's up to town share for that.
Yeah, and that was,
Grant.
the match is more than 32 on that one, it's a larger match. We put in a smaller amount, so that's really something to take advantage of.
120 or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
All right.
What's that towards?
The grant match, I cannot remember that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't.
I guess I can watch
Watch
that.
that.
to see
Yeah,
what-
watch the
Find out one,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well,
Yes.
okay, what project is that for?
Yep.
I did watch it, but
I don't remember
I,
what the actual.
yeah,
report is.
because some of these I really don't understand the details of what he's
Right.
talking about in the DPW to understand why it's so important. But he's also, what we'll have to get in the beginning is we'll need to know what the water and sewer reserves are. So we need to know what the balances are in those accounts.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
how is water after the recent, expenditure for the generator? That's certainly gonna be a concern.
Yeah, well, it looks
Well, we
like
agreed
we
upon
wanted to, that's coming up, they put the generator, or are we taking, anyways, that's in the warrant too, the generator.
It's a
Yeah.
separate article.
Separate.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, so we'll need to know, get those balances for the water and sewer.
SCADA systems, I cannot.
Is that
It's-
energy
it-
management?
No, it's real-time collection from sensors of the remote sites is part of it. It basically operates your whole water system. And it collects all the hard data that's necessary, so it's something we have to, I guess we have to put some more money into.
So this is automation?
It's a supervisory control and data acquisition system. It's a computer program.
I feel like I've seen this before,
It's-
so
it's an
how often
ongoing
do we
thing.
do with this?
I don't know the
Yeah.
details, I just know what it is, and I don't remember from the meeting whether it's an annual expense that we've been
I
doing,
think
or,
it's an annual.
I do too,
expense.
too.
I remember that coming up in
Yeah.
other years too.
I just remember it, but I just,
right.
yeah.
Then we have for the Hadley Media, computers and camera equipment, that's a relatively small amount, and that's coming out of,
That's his fault, right?
yep,
Everything's my fault.
Okay, just making sure.
coming out of the enterprise funds for Hadley Media. Do you have
Mhm.
anything to say about it, Alex?
I mean, there's not much to
5,000.
say from the capital. I mean, using only half of it to bring over to next fiscal year to put in a project to hopefully, the goal is to really get ready for when the state decides to force everyone to do hybrid meetings. Whereas it's not gonna be a choice, it's, you're gonna have to do it for every single
Yeah.
board and committee.
Yeah.
So what it means is starting to really do better at outfitting rooms to do that more efficiently.
Yeah.
So
Another unfunded mandate?
I testified on today, and yes, it is an unfunded mandate, and I told them they wanted to do extra work, they gotta have to fund it, so. I mean, that's the truth. But yes, it is an unfunded mandate. We have another unfunded mandate too, I was reminded of today as well, so, but well, that, we don't have to worry about till 2027,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Good. Then we move on to the ballistic vest replacements, I guess the.
They have a time limit on them, so.
Yeah, I
we
have a
to
question,
determine.
yeah,
They have a
there's,
5 years.
Would that be
roughly,
capital? If there's a
5-year
time
use.
limit on that? That would be,
well, it's, when I watched it, because I did watch it, and then I did have questions on this one. One, I watched it and it said, there is a grant that they can apply for, and I think they can get half of this back
Right.
in a grant, that they won't have to use it if they get the other money back.
And that's what the chief said, Amy, is that this is the gross amount, and any grant money that offset against this request.
But the other thing is, he said that the first question I was thinking when watching it, and then someone else in your committee asked the question, was, bulletproof vests how do they wear out? I mean, it's armor type of thing. How does that,
Well, it's
why do you have to
material.
redo it?
Mr. Moderator can answer that.
I can answer that one.
Okay,
Just by sheerly existing things, I mean, if you can put something out and, just by wear and tear, normal stuff just degrades over time. But a
Okay.
question with that, what do they do with the old ones? Could the old ones be sold?
okay.
or traded in.
Or traded in.
Don't
Or
know.
something for,
Something to generate revenue.
Want to buy it.
If they put them out there for the public, I mean, I'd take a look at it.
No guarantee.
Yeah, no guarantees.
No guarantees, sign this 40-page release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I mean, yet we do other things with municipal, certainly,
No, no,
you know,
yeah, I
it's
mean-
wear and tear and,
Yeah.
and, you know, when you buy an old truck, caveat emptor
Right.
at that point.
Well, the other thing was, I was thinking, when I listened, it said it's recommended for every 5 years.
Mhm.
But a lot of things that's the recommended life. Now, at home, when something comes up, is everything that worn? Or, hey
Next
Steve,
one down, think.
Conservation, you have a room.
keep going.
You guys stole our room?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Just close the door.
Yeah, that's one of those things though, with the, if I may. I don't
Yep,
mean-
no, I want you to, want your
If the
input.
recommended replacement is 5 years and we're running them 6 years and something happens and an officer gets hurt, again, liability.
Okay.
We didn't replace it at the recommended cycle.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, this is life safety.
Right,
so-
this is life or death.
Yep.
And Kevlar is great for bulletproof vests, but Kevlar over time will degrade
Yep.
and lose its effectiveness,
Mhm.
which is probably what they're looking at.
Great.
But I'd be very interested in what happens with the old ones.
Okay, good to know.
Traded
We'll ask
value
that
or
question. All right.
Then we move on to the schools, the security upgrades. She said these are needed, but she couldn't get into the details with us for security reasons, so.
But
No, she did mention, I think they were gonna put like they go double
Man
door
traps.
system, yeah, man trap they call it.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
Or
double
person,
doors.
person trap,
They're gonna put a vestibule in
Person
between.
Vestibule.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the security vestibule.
Locking.
Both entrances, the main one, I mean.
I don't know, I think the
It'd
main
be
one.
nice to kind of know of,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this isn't done by, they just like come up with, oh, let's just put a.
I know, but
thing
we'd
here.
like to have
They must bring
details.
in somebody who tells them this is what needs to be done to this property
Mm-hmm.
to make it, safer. Okay, I'm sure they've hired somebody or somewhere, someone has funded a small study, knowing this town. We probably funded a study or had an expert come in to tell us what needed to be done. I'm sure, that, I would imagine that Chief Mason probably has some understanding of what they're planning on doing.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure the police department needs to know what's there and what's not.
Mhm.
So maybe just they may not want to discuss everything in public, so it might just be make a phone call and just say,
Oh, I
just
think
say-
it's,
Yeah, I don't know.
I understand if they
Yep.
need it, the
Yep.
kids need to be safe. But when I listened to the Capitol, they talked about Chromebooks. And I don't necessarily see a special line item for Chromebooks. And do you remember her saying
Yeah.
Chromebooks? And she needed, she gave a dollar amount for the Chromebooks and needed 60 of them. So my question, and all the kids use the Chromebooks, and I'm sure they need to replace them
I bought them some.
on a regular time. But when I took the number that she had and I divided it by 60, that gave a Chromebook of being over $540 or something. But I'm pretty sure you can get a Chromebook for under $200.
They have to buy them with
But-
the software.
License.
I
Oh,
bought
that's what
them-
I was questioning.
yeah,
I
I-
thought maybe that's what it would be.
I actually bought and donated 3 of them during COVID.
Okay.
So because the school didn't have the money. And my business threw 3 of them in there, and I managed to get them from Dell at a really good price, because I also buy Dell computers anyway. And I donated them, but they came through with the software, which is why they are more than the $200 or $300 from them. There's software that the schools use that's proprietary.
Okay, so that sounds.
It's all, yes,
that-
software,
Okay.
yes.
Also, it's entirely possible that, we'll get more from Dr. McKenzie, that security upgrades could be cybersecurity
Yes,
as well. It's
as
just
well.
not necessarily physical security.
I had a feeling there might have been more to it, but I just wanted to ask the question.
Yep.
it would be nice to know, I mean, there can't be how much, privacy of, like you said, with the police knowing and us not, it's still, they're asking $350,000 to this, to at least give us a basis of what it goes to.
Right,
You
well,
know,
that-
a
that
little bit more detail
Well, I mean, if
than just a-
Chromebooks are in there, that's,
Chromebooks.
No, they're not.
And
They're
The
not?
IT upgrades and replacements were all being delayed, as were the hallway, she talked about them, but they were being delayed.
Oh, they're being
The-
delayed.
The hallway locker program, the lockers they have are insufficient, they're old.
I heard her talk about the lockers.
She put that off also, and there's some tile replacements in 4 classrooms with vinyl tile.
Oh,
And
okay,
she
so
put that off. So the
those-
only thing she wanted to move forward with was the security projects.
Okay.
And it was 350, yes, over here.
Okay, yeah, that's why I don't say, I thought
Yep.
maybe all those were
No,
lumped
no,
into
no,
the
no,
three
no,
fifty.
no, it's
Okay,
separate items.
all right.
Facial recognition.
Um,
Last item is the select board's request. It's actually coming from Jennifer for an on-call architect
Oh, yeah. and
or
this-
engineer, because
right.
she's the CPO for the town too.
Yep,
And she said that she feels she needs somebody with the expertise in certain types of projects that she goes out to bid on. And the argument was that this amount of money could actually save us in the event that there's any kind of a challenge to a bid, you know,
Right.
an objection by another bidder.
right. So this isn't actually necessarily spent money right away. It is a pool of money that is estimated that they needed, if I remember correctly.
It is.
And this person is just basically, we have, I assume, an hourly or a retainer with them that we would be able to use. So when she has projects, she'll be able to take the project that could be the DPW building, and maybe the bids are being prepared. This person will look them over and see if there are any problems that are gonna cause problems down the road for us, to make sure that they're properly put together, and see if there's any other flaws that can be found. So what that does is it gives us an independent person, that the person putting together the bid documents can make sure that these are done properly.
In
Okay.
advance.
In advance, yes.
So what we did in the building committee a long time ago, so we actually started with this by putting $50,000 aside for an engineer
Mhm.
to support town hall for procurement of building projects.
Yep.
Because the code is ever changing.
Yep.
And we don't, even if you have a CSL, you don't necessarily are up to date on, you know, what are the requirements for a commercial building, HVAC of this size, you know, and we can't necessarily rely on town hall to be able to do that. But at the same time, I'm really leery about this not being under some form of building maintenance. Because if this procurement money is then used to, I don't know, design a new truck or, you know, spec out
It's not that
something.
type of, it's a review of building project documents.
But the only building that would be kind of that's out there is the town garage, and that's been on hold since we've already had the past 3 buildings. What other projects that we would
Well,
be needing somebody
Think of it
to?
beyond design. So let's just say something like the roof at the library.
Right.
Right? That
There's a good
if
example.
it needs to be rebuilt, it has to be spec'd properly for its size. And it's not the old days of calling in a
Yeah, but
contract.
we should be paying for that, for that, what happened
Okay.
there. There wasn't already, that was a bad example. Because an architect has already done
In that
that.
example,
All right.
somebody needs to do the specs.
Mhm.
And if, in the case, let's say, if we have a roof problem then at, you know, at town hall or the school, well, the school's got their, at town hall, and they need to design the new roof. Well, you have to, if it's a certain amount, it has to be up to code, and you can't just ask a contractor to come in and say, you know, bid the project and then take your spec and go shop it.
Mhm.
And sometimes those specs aren't accurate, you know, because the contractor wasn't up to doing the, you know, municipal code. So.
So this also will
but-
include roof repairs, fence installations, levee, elevator installations. Jennifer just sent me a text.
So
Okay.
my point is, I would definitely want to, you know, tag all this stuff specifically for building projects to make sure that it doesn't go into other capital
Mhm.
purchasing. Again, if we're going to spec out a fire truck or something like that, that shouldn't be
Yeah,
coming out of this.
I don't think that was the intention.
And is this 50,000, is this for 6 months? Is this for a
That's-
year?
I believe it's for a year.
For a year?
Well, it sits in a pile until you use it.
Okay.
But-
On call.
It's an on-call, you need it, and, you know, with whoever this architect or engineer is, we're gonna be knowing of what their rates are, their hourly rates are, their
Mhm.
minimum rates are, because,
But, I mean,
you
certainly.
know,
the-
those little details, might be, like you said, it's just a reserve of having this, but it'd be just nice to know of what we're spending. Yeah, I understand what we're spending it on, but it's nice to know, whenever anybody gets their car fixed, gets an oil change, has any of their systems done or work done in their house, what's it gonna cost, how much is it an hour?
Right, and the way it worked before is that we would draw a little bit down, and it was used on several different projects, like the Goodwin Memorial flooring improvements or the electrical upgrades. But the pool of money was there and kind of chipped away at. And there was, I think we even replenished it once. But that was over a 5-year period. So the money sat in an account and, would accrue, and it would be used as needed. Again, 50,000 doesn't go the same as it used to back then, but you're right, you should be able to have, not necessarily, and if you're gonna put somebody on a retainer, they should be giving us the town a discounted rate to be on that retainer.
So originally my thinking was, what you're saying, I didn't care for it to be coming out of capital, and, because we're gonna have to be talking about it every year.
Right.
But,
I'll get text messages.
This we're taking in free
but,
cash. though.
we're,
Well,
no, it's
we'll-
coming out,
Okay,
it's capital.
Right, it's capital, yeah, it's in the
It's
capital
capital,
side, right.
and that's how we're paying for it, is free
Right.
cash, but, the thing is, if they don't use it, it stays in the free cash.
Right.
At this point, if we tried to move it into the budget just right now, the problem is,
It's gonna
one,
be
we don't
gone.
have a lot of money in the free budget, but number two, what would happen is if it is in the budget and it's not used, it's gonna be a funds transfer and someone else is gonna use it for something else. Here, if we don't use it, it stays in free cash. So that is a very good thing, and it's not, Jennifer does the best she can, but she's not an engineer to know how to
Correct.
do these, some of these, it's a specialty.
The bid
Well,
specs.
A bid
Yeah, I don't know
specs,
if
yeah.
they're gonna set it up the same as they did last time, which was an account specific for that purpose only. And so it was it sat there, and the next, it's not recurring unless you use it.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's something that we're gonna bring up again in the future, like, is this the best place for it? We're gonna talk about it again and again. But for now, I think it probably is, to leave it alone, it is probably the best place. Is there any of these, we've gone through these items, is there any of them that you feel like you're really uncomfortable with, or, I know we need more information on some of them, but especially when it comes to the DPW, but are any of them really uncomfortable? I'm thinking, knowing the select board, they're gonna wanna do this as one lump sum and send this as one capital item. And in the past, some of the people like to go through each and every one. I don't really see one item sticking out to me.
Oh, man.
That would be
Yeah. I
a
don't
hot
think-
topic.
Still gotta find out from Scott about what would be on the sewer and the water side for that assessment
Yeah.
on both
Asset
of those.
management.
Asset management.
Yeah, the asset management, really, what is it? If this is something that the state is highly recommending and it's being done within a certain amount of time, something itemized, at least knowing what's on the list that needs to be done, as to saying, okay, pump station in North Hadley needs to be fixed, that's a priority over one down by Hockenham. At least giving an idea instead of just saying, here's $300,000, it's nice to know as to really what is it being spent on. That's the big thing to me, is there a possibility to having that itemized instead of just, here's 300 grand?
Yeah.
That's
And-
one thing
and-
I would really want to know about.
And depending on what he says and how we feel about it, maybe we ask to pull that out.
Yeah, I agree. Both of those two are obviously larger dollar
Yeah.
amounts. The only one that's that kind of big is the security upgrade, which we're getting a clear sense that we're not gonna get a lot of specifics on that. So-
Well, I think we still should, though, at least have some sort of idea.
Yeah.
It's not, yes, it's kids, absolutely protecting our kids, but it'd still be nice to know what is it exactly for. The kids having fobs, getting into the buildings?
She was hesitant.
It's one building.
She was hesitant to discuss it with us in public.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I would also like to know, and I think they're doing quite a bit of it, but it will be something to know for town meeting. The school has a lot of improvements, have been doing a lot of improvements. I think they're taking a lot of them out of their school choice fund.
Yeah, yeah.
But it would be interesting to know, you know, just a brief, oh, we've taken out this, 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 and this, and it's totaling about, you know, $1 million of what we've taken out of the school choice. I'm curious to where they are with that. Because then, you know, they're gonna be asking for some from the town, from the general budget, but they are taking, and that was brought up quite a few times, that school choice fund. And I think
Yeah, they
I
use
just wanna see that they are using it.
$6 million of it
Right.
already. Yeah,
I believe that, yeah. I do believe that
One
they're
point
using
six,
it.
I believe.
yeah, it was 1.6, that's what I said.
That they've used.
Yep.
I did add up this, and it's 650,000 we're using for borrowing and 88,000 for free cash. It seems on the high side, the 650 for borrowing, but Linda, if she put this in here, she must have calculated it to be within what we could handle.
Well, she
Within the
mentioned
levy.
about that $500,000 that I brought up earlier, that usually gets paid off every year
Yeah.
in advance.
Well, that's why I
without
said it's
having
usually about
ever
a
to get borrowed permanently.
It's about a half, that $500,000 is, and so we're a little bit higher than normal.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so but I'm assuming she's calculated for that, but we will wanna just double check that this is still okay. And then the other thing,
And even the amount borrowed though, I mean, that hits like 2 to 3 years down the road. 'Cause this is for the
Yeah.
26 budget, you borrow temporarily for a year, and then if you did borrow permanently, it'd be another year before
Right.
the first principal payment would be due.
but I wanna put it out there that we also won't have, if we're using this now, Springtown meeting, there'll be no room.
Right.
So they'll have to wait until next fall, because sometimes we try to put some capital in the spring too, and there is no more room. If we use all this, I'm guessing we're maxing it out, what we have available.
Right. I know the last few years, though, we've been loading everything up for the fall meeting with capital. We've
Typically.
been real lean in the
Really lean in
springtime.
the spring, yeah, yeah. You're the only one here, do you have anything that you noticed or that you would bring to our attention?
No, I think you guys are hitting everything that's important. Getting explanation from Scott of 300,000, I think is gonna be very, that will definitely get questioned.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
yeah.
Article 3 doesn't really pertain to us, right? That's beverage licenses,
Yeah, I don't think that pertains to us.
tax agreement, bylaw.
The bylaw, did they do that in your bylaw committee?
I believe that's where this came out of.
That's your, yeah. It was, so it was all reviewed through your bylaw committee, okay. I mean, it does involve,
I don't know if that's
I
something we
mean,
vote
there
on.
does
Yeah.
involve finance, so, I mean, cash is in there. So I'm guessing we probably should put a recommendation on it, but I don't, especially since it's reviewed through the bylaw committee and
Right.
they usually look at what all the other towns are doing. We already had one, is that correct? We had
Yes.
one, and these are just some adjustments?
Yeah, a lot, I mean, some of the changes were updates in verbiage,
Yeah.
and some of the updates that we're doing in the bylaws are just tightening things up. Also, not necessarily this one, but there have been things like a fine for sweeping putting all your, all your leaves and stuff in the street. Used to be
Grass
10,
clippings.
it was, I think it was from like 1914 or something, it was like $10. So adjusted, it came up to 300. So now if you get fined for that, it'd be a $300 fine for filling the street with, your leaves and stuff.
Well, and just skimming through this, this looks like a written payment, tax
Right.
arrears payment plan.
It's more of a payment program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if somebody's behind and they define it, then you have to pay it back in 5 years, and the town works with the property owner to set up an agreement.
Yeah.
That's-
And
just
in order
skimming it,
to-
it
Yeah.
looks like.
In order to offer this, they have to accept, it's a local acceptance of a bylaw, so that's why it's on here. Sure, Linda could address that if she were here.
It would be nice to know,
Pretty
like, what the
familiar with
changes
this,
are.
Or
It's
Jim-
it's
or
on
Jimmy
there,
would know also.
yeah. And so, because usually it's an existing thing, I just had to do this tweak and this tweak. What are the tweaks?
Well, the existing law allowed for partial payments, but there were real no specifics to it. This has like a time period where
Oh,
it go
so-
up to 10 years. In this case, they select, at the town of Hadley, it looks like they selected 5 years as a maximum.
Yeah. Okay. Next would be the sewer infrastructure grant match.
This was the one that came through CPA
Yep.
and was removed from CPA. What they were, so, at least I believe it is, it looks just like it. And what that was connecting the pump station from an engineering study. And it's the town's contribution to a state grant, and if I remember Scott's numbers correctly, this was like 10%. And the state grant is a bigger piece of that, but it was to connect the Mill Valley Pump Station to Amherst, to take
Right.
the east end of Route 9's load. It was coming through CPA to try to get it paid for out of those monies under affordable housing, but because there's rate-paying customers that would be on that line,
Yeah.
and it's for the line, not the connection, it was removed from the CPA request, and it looks like they're coming through here. So this is, I believe it was also, the wording was used for the potential expansion of those 40B and 40R going on, maybe down at the mall and building infrastructure. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential, this is grant match money, but there's a lot of potential costs going down the road for that particular project if you're looking at taking on 350 to 400 units.
Is that, aren't they, Amherst doing the same study, except from, on their side?
Amherst
I
is
thought
a
I saw
regional
something
facility.
I thought I saw something in the paper about them doing a study as well.
I'm not aware of that, but this, they're obviously a regional facility, they're at really low capacity. Our system is at 75% capacity, I believe that's the last
Think so.
number I heard. And so alleviating that part of town would put off an expansion of our system by using the regional, but that does not come without a cost, sludge removal being the biggest component of that.
Well,
And
it
to
could
haul
save us
off-
money there, because they dewater and we don't,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing, because you're shipping. You
Yeah.
got wet tons and dry tons there, right?
I'm sorry.
Wet tons and
Something
dry
else.
tons, they would dewater in Amherst.
I
They have
don't know.
dewatering, yeah, they do. They have dewatering, we don't.
Hmm.
Well, it's a big regional facility that
Yeah.
is under
Under capacity,
Yeah.
so-
Do we know what the costs are for, I'm guessing taking from our sludge in a truck and bringing it to Amherst, what are those costs?
This will be piped, I believe.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but the way they're doing it now, how much is it? And what are we losing at this, that if there's a connection to Amherst, does that mean we're losing all of that sewer revenues from Mill Valley all the way going east?
Good question.
Is that the money that we're gonna be losing to doing this, to be saving who knows how much for doing the pumping? In return, I thought we were had plenty of capacity from what we were told from sewer, that we could keep on taking on all of these additional things. And now they wanna do this as to now connect to Amherst. We're not just, there's gotta be a give and take. What are we losing to giving this to Amherst?
That's what this is for.
Yeah.
If you read it, it will support the engineering and feasibility analysis for the proposed extension. So it will do the numbers, it'll tell us whether we can physically do it, what it's gonna cost us, what it's gonna mean to our rates, whether we're gonna save money or just have added capacity, which then means we can have added tax revenues from these new facilities that come in.
Yeah, I was under the understanding it was more of the engineering design of actually physically making the connection. Certainly, all these other factors are good questions. That wasn't part of the presentation because it was, the initial presentation, because it was taken off the table at CPA. But you know, certainly sewer revenue is a question that should be answered. But, and again, I don't think when they were originally talking that we had plenty of capacity, they were looking at the existing building now, it's not necessarily converting the mall into a mixed-use scenario.
I have a little bit, I'm on the fence with it, because I think that, you know, working with Amherst and getting more capacity is a good thing. But at the same time, this is a study. And that's great, it's a study, and it's gonna tell us how much it's gonna cost. Well, is there a plan, do we already know of an existing grant that we can get, or something like that? Because really, we have no money to be spending here, and if this is a study and it's just gonna go on a shelf because we have no room to build this, are we wasting $38,000 for a study to go on a shelf?
Well, to that
And
point.
then it'll be expired.
To that point, you know, what is the real impact of that expansion plan that's out there? I mean, we should be looking long-term at what is the cost if that happened. You know, what's the feasibility, the impact on our emergency services, on our schools, on our infrastructure, the roads, traffic? What are those costs before we just build a sewer connection and say, okay, we're ready there? Now what's the next step? You know, we should be looking at the bigger picture and the overall costs rather than spending this money just because there's, you know, certainly if there's an attractive grant there, but we know that sometimes these attractive grants throw things out of kilter.
Well, if the grant, and I thought they were throwing around 400,000 or something, I mean, it's a big grant.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Well, this
But-
is like 10% of it.
Yeah.
This is our portion of it.
Okay, so if the study is this expensive, it is going to be crazy how much the project actually costs. So I'm not,
And that's just to make the connection. What is the other costs?
yeah,
And that we don't even know about, because you, like you said, there was 200, or is there 400? We don't know any of that for the impact on the town. Those numbers are just still up in the air and really nothing being proposed. What's going on at the
Well,
mall?
I think there are things that are out there.
Right, there's just, I heard 2, I heard 4, and is this the main reason why we're doing this, is mainly for this
Yeah.
project? Is
okay.
this the reason why we're
Kirk
doing
wants
this?
to- he has some
I
information.
have two questions. One is, has anybody talked to Amherst to see if they're capable of taking that? I assume they have, I just want to put it out
Yeah,
there.
I believe they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question, I guess we're beginning to get into that, and maybe I missed it, I was scrolling through the warrant, I apologize. What's the driving factor with wanting to do this? Is it because we don't have the capacity now, or are we looking at future expansion of Route 9 and needing to do something?
Right.
I'm thinking it was future expansion.
I think it was, yeah, the additional housing at that end, because there's not a lot of open lots per se. You'd have to knock stuff down and to put stuff up or change use.
So this would be like for if we were to do the housing in the mall. I mean, there's been discussion about that, or if we were to do the 400 or 450 unit development, that we would need some capacity to be able to handle that, so we're getting ahead of the game by doing this.
Mhm.
So there's not a pressing need, it's not like, oh my God, we're backing up, oh my
No.
God, we need to do something now because we
No.
can't handle what we got.
This
No,
is, this is
no.
not a fix, our problem now. This is, I think, in
Future
the
growth.
CPA
Okay.
presentation, it was, you know, to look forward to accommodate, you know, a transformational housing project is, I believe, the words that were used.
Yeah. What it would cost compared to the money that we'd have to come up with, and then the interruption to business on Route 9, and just the general nightmare and stuff. Would it be possible, going back to a mutual friend that we have, Paul, would it be possible to have a truck, or a couple of trucks that run periodically from our facility to the Amherst facility to unload?
Oh, just to truck it, yeah.
And just truck it. It's a short term, well, it's a smaller bleed as opposed to just hemorrhage all this money out there now. It might be worth looking at what it would cost to get trucks to move the sludge.
That's what I was wondering, what the cost is that we're charging for the process of doing that, and the truck fees, the fuel fees, the permits, the requirements to being able to transfer this hazard material. some sort of base numbers.
Oh, there are
Or
company-
something.
Yeah, there are companies out there that do that, so
Right.
maybe you would wanna, I don't know, reach out to them and say, hey, you know, rough guesstimates. You know, we're looking at doing X, Y, Z. You know, if
Mhm.
we're looking at, you know, $500,000 to do it with all the
I mean,
unaccounted
this
for
would-
interruption,
Okay,
you know, perhaps it's 10 grand, 15 grand a year.
so it'll be more than that.
You know, I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea.
It'll be more than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're
Yeah.
going down I think we're going a little too deep into this. I think we should ask for some details so that, rather
Yeah.
than just, you know,
Well, I'd rather go and asking those
No, no, no,
questions
it's fine.
right now,
That's-
before it's the,
I know.
geez, I wish we had asked those questions.
No, no, that's
before.
fine, I'm
No, I
not
got you.
attacking the question, I'm just saying, amongst ourselves, we need somebody here who can then go into why this should be done or why it shouldn't, okay? What's the rationale? So why don't we, your chair,
Okay.
table it or put it
Would
into
that
a
be
list of
talking to
questions?
Scott on that? as
No, I
to-
think, we'll bring it up at the.
By board
um,
tomorrow,
The
yeah.
by board tomorrow, and, unless, I mean, so we all talked about what our thoughts were, mine was pure, but you guys, both Andy and Peter had some excellent, items, so I think maybe one of you might wanna ask the question, or could talk on it. My pure thing is I just don't want to, even if it's a small amount compared to what the state's doing, I don't want to waste money. So if we're not going to go forward, I don't want to even waste the 38,000. And also, I'm thinking, the other thing I was thinking was, if it's for a project, let's use the mall, if it was for that, well, the developer could do this. Let the developer spend the money to figure out how much it's gonna cost, and let the developer do something. Who's to say, we talked about housing, but who's to say that, heck, we don't own the mall, the town doesn't own the mall, it's private. Someone, you know, a bank owns the mall or whatever. What happens if Amazon says, I wanna do a warehouse and gives a good price for it? You know, I'm just throwing stuff out there, or a big facility, it's got a lot of space. If the price is right, they'll take it, and then let them do it.
Plus, if
It's
this
even
is only
needed.
10% of the project, if it's closer to four, you know, I heard 380,000 or so. Money doesn't come from the state without strings attached. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering what you know, if we're gonna get that big of a piece, what is what's the quote, quid for the quote?
Mhm.
Okay, so lots of questions on this one. Okay. This is your emergency generator, Andy.
Indigo, thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Oh, good night.
Hey, everybody.
Emergency
Oh,
generator.
not my emergency generator, but the.
No,
Well,
but you know the
Oh,
most,
No, I heard it was called Andy's generator.
Andy's
I
generator.
heard that all over town.
I don't need that name on it. So, but
Go
this
ahead,
is the one
Sparky,
that.
tell us what it is. No, seriously, this is a
So
good
you
thing.
guys are all pretty familiar with
I am
the
totally.
situation.
We know
Yeah.
the
I am
situation,
also-
we
what
know
happened.
We know it,
but-
and we need to do this.
But I thought the time it was, when Scott made the presentation, it was $330,000.
360 is, I think, what I heard, but
Yes, 363 was the number that stuck
Right.
in my head.
that was the
I
number I
think
had.
there is a headroom that they put into this. It'd be interesting to know, because I'm surprised to see 415,000.
No idea.
Obviously, this is it's coming out of water reserves, so from a tax impact standpoint,
There is
you
no.
know,
Yeah.
and it's something that needed to be done, and then quite frankly, I think in the long run, we're saving ourselves money by going this route rather than trying to rehab that one that already been rebuilt.
Could-
So,
Could this be to
20-year-old.
pay for the work that was already done on, because we did spend some money on the,
Maybe that's the difference.
because that adds up almost.
Or the
When you-
rental?
Well, no, we were about 35 or 40
No,
in.
I'm wondering if that's the difference
That's
between
what I
this
think.
360
That's-
something.
that's what I
and then
mean.
there's,
I
maybe
think
that's the difference.
that would be my
between the
guess, but
360
Scott would know.
And the 415 is covering the costs, the initial.
Yeah, the
but
short term.
We're just guessing at this.
Yeah,
I thought we
okay.
already did it.
Because,
I thought we did at the vote, we voted for it, it was 360-something thousand that we all,
right, but I
Both
think,
boards
I
agreed,
think
said
what this
yes to
does
it.
is this takes it out of I think it changes how it came out, I'm not sure, there was some reason why it had to go to I don't remember what the reason was that it was gonna then go on, because it was an emergency expenditure, right?
Yeah, and we took it out of water
We
We
reserves,
took it
I
out of water
thought.
reserves,
did.
but I think there's something about how we borrow that it needs to go over here. That way they can borrow for it, is I think what
Oh.
it is. So by putting it here, then they can borrow the money instead of using the reserves.
Does it,
I
it doesn't
believe
say that
that's-
we're borrowing.
I'm not sure, I
Not
believe
the
that's what it
capital
was.
list.
No?
Well, it says raise and appropriate, I don't know,
That's,
I
From
thought there was
water
some.
reserves.
From
water reserves.
Okay, well, maybe not. Anyway,
so I'm kind of surprised to see it here again, but that's the situation with the generator, so and, you know, Mr. Benjamin's probably right there that it's,
I think it's the difference.
that it could
And
be
the
the
work that
difference
was
between the two,
done.
but why is it showing?
No,
the
and the rental,
diagnosis.
and the and the rental during, they
You
were
would
trying
think
to
that
fix it.
rental would have been
Paying
paid month by
ourselves
month,
back,
you would have think we would have been paying that, oh, we're back paying 6 months of.
But I don't know where that came out of. I
Right,
mean,
we'll
you
we'll
know,
have to wait until talk to Scott about this,
Yeah,
this
Scott
we're
will
just
know.
guessing,
Well, to me, it sounds like that was a little while ago, and we did it,
that was in July.
and we needed the emergency to be done, so the generator is there, and I'm guessing is in. I'm
Right.
thinking,
Yeah, it,
I'm
that-
guessing we're
that
not renting anymore.
I know I'm
I
not
thought it
gonna
was like a
say,
6-month
I
period.
need to talk to Scott, but I know that the ordering, there was a lead time between
Yes.
ordering it and getting it, but they
Right.
tore out the old one, the failed one, right away.
Okay.
And had
Right.
prepared the site, they got, as part of the purchase, the rental for the replacement was included in that. and,
Right.
From that period on, yes.
Okay,
So that was put in,
well, I just know Scott, and once he gets the approval, he's got it done.
yeah.
He doesn't
So,
wait
honestly, I
around.
don't know if
He
it's been,
gets it and
the
he
new one's been
goes.
installed yet, but
All right.
I'm sure.
But the question is the difference between the two.
All right, and why are we doing it again? Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Compensated time fund. For some reason, I thought this was done in the budget book. I thought we had a budget line item for that.
Mm.
Does anybody know? Remember hearing that?
Is it in the budget?
That fund is used without further
I really,
Now, does the town have a policy that after so much time, if you don't use it, you lose it?
I believe they do,
I believe it's 90 days, don't quote me.
yeah.
So is this used only when somebody retires, or somebody could get it just without?
So they don't take their
annual
vacation,
basis?
they're paying for their vacation, from what it sounds like, that's what they're doing.
I thought we were putting it in an area so that way we were building it so that it wasn't killing us like if a long-term employee
Right.
just left.
I thought usually it's for retirement.
Retirement,
Right.
I
When
thought.
somebody leaves, they have their accumulated time, and I can't picture this happening on a regular basis for a current employee. But it doesn't state.
No,
the way
it's, I don't think it's for a particular employee. I think
No,
they were
not
trying
from
to,
a particular employee, but a certain situation.
So,
It doesn't say upon retirement.
yeah.
No,
Here it just says, for unused vacation and sick time to which an employee is entitled to under previously established contract or town personnel policy.
so this sounds like if it's from the private sector, if somebody is fired or leaves, if they're fired, that can happen quickly. At least usually leave, you get some notice, but they are due a check that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
And,
Or if you retire too, you can get paid out.
you know,
Yeah.
again, you should have a heads up on when somebody's gonna retire, but this is for like, anyway, we'll
This
need
would
more
be a good-
explanation.
Well, we could ask HR to give us a
If they give
clarification.
you a 6-month notice and you're already in that fiscal year,
Yeah.
you don't have the funds there.
So, isn't
I
it-
believe it, no, and maybe we did it,
We need clarification.
I just-
maybe.
what's in there, I know it's already established, and I just don't remember how much we've put in the past.
And is it only upon retirement?
Yeah. So we just wanna know if it's just retirement, when it was established. When established,
I just got a text, this is for retirement.
oh, yeah. When, yeah,
Mr.
I know it was established, and I feel like it was established
Oh,
4 years
I
or
see.
so ago. I don't know how often we've been putting into it, but we have put into it. I don't know what the balance is.
The warrant is closed, so we can't even add the words for upon retirement to this
Well, I think they can add that comment.
as an amendment.
Or they can say it at town meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one's acceptance of the street.
Yep, we can skip that one.
Okay, and then there's the display case.
That would, yeah, that's the CPA,
CPA,
that would be
Yep.
Andy's
Yeah.
stuff, so we can put our recommendations after. If Andy wanna tell us anything about those two?
So it is a case that looks like this.
Cool.
Okay,
See what we
And
get.
it's gonna
the
be
Bible-
where?
The Bible is.
library?
Looks like this.
Ooh,
And what they're trying to do is, obviously, this is from the late 1500s, and they're trying to take efforts to preserve it, and without it being
UV.
a sealed container, it will just naturally deteriorate. So they were trying to get a case to take care of it. And, you know, it is remarkable to see that old document. Honestly, this is one of the things CPA money is.
Yeah, it's made for.
They're paid
It's a
for.
cool thing.
where is it gonna be?
That is a
That's
good
a great
question. It said
question.
where, it's gonna be at the Historical Society, I'm pretty sure, on display there.
Yeah, maybe the library or the town hall, so people could see it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got other displays around. I'm sure they will work something up. It'd be nice if some of this stuff was rotated out, but.
Well, it'd be nice if they move the pages every once in a while, so you could,
You
if
could
it's at
come
the
up-
library, no, I mean, seriously, because you only see the,
Right, that one page
yeah,
in
and
the
then,
bill.
you know, like
someone read it.
every couple of weeks, change it to another page that's interesting, if it's safe to do that for the.
Break the vacuum seal, white
Yeah.
glove, turn. the
White
page.
gloves,
That number might be a little higher.
yeah. You never know.
Okay,
Anyway,
you got another one, Andy?
So
That's 16,000.
the 16,000, that is for a 10-hour-a-week certified curator slash archivist to go through the historical societies. They've got, I guess, several thousand items and many volumes of books that they want to take CPA money out, have somebody come in and really assess, you know, is this worth something, is this not? And, because you get a lot of donations, and it's hard to say whether or not, you know, it's worth much. And to have somebody go over it to supplement the efforts of the volunteers and the interns that have been going through it. But you get 10 hours a week, so there's no benefits involved.
yeah.
There are those books now.
That they're all at the Historical Society. This is different than the commission.
Okay.
Middle Street?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's what CPA, one of the things that they do is historical stuff. so-
Well, don't forget,
There we go.
I think it was the town of Ashfield who had a pile of stuff that people had donated over the years, and they had a tag sale. I believe I have this story correctly. Do you know about this? Am I allowed to tell a story?
Sure.
Ancient book.
Is that
No,
public
it
information?
was actually, looked like, so they were going through having, well, we didn't raise a lot of money, or we need to raise more, and there's the stuff, so they went over and looked at the stuff in the basement, and there was this framed picture of the Emancipation Proclamation. And it turns out it's a limited edition printing at the time, numbered and signed, not by Lincoln, because, you know, and I think they auctioned it for $100,000, and it was marked $5 and nobody bought it,
Whoa.
if I remember. So having an archivist look at what people donate is not a bad idea, because you just never know. It's, you know, it's kind of antique roadshow, you know.
Well, and to that point, like the North Hadley Library, it was closed for 6 years up there because there was concern that a lot of the books that were in there had high value, and they actually brought in a biblio
Yeah.
archivist and found out that the entire collection was worth like $300. So you're sitting there going,
Right.
You're wasting all this time, space, heating it, conditioning it, and preserving it because there was a perceived value. Or you'd rather have that go into things like the Scoff Bible or,
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
other highly valuable things. So,
Mhm.
I believe that was Ashfield, though, yeah. For the public, I think. Isn't that amazing? though?
It is.
Yeah,
All right, so
the budget.
tomorrow, we have a joint meeting. I guess we'll have to figure out what to do, because I think that Andy might be, could be a little bit late,
Could be
depending
a
on,
little bit late, but no.
Paul's not gonna make it.
That, Paul,
That Paul,
Yes.
you'll be here?
I'll be there.
Are you gonna be here? Okay.
Yes, it will.
You're
So-
missing your second meeting, that's all I'm gonna say.
Not good.
Boy,
So I'm
boy, what an
thinking,
attitude.
I'm thinking we'll
tough
try
crowd
not to vote tomorrow either.
That's fine.
And then we'll look to.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, this is brand new to us, let's go through the
Informational.
questions, and then we'll have another meeting and have votes, okay?
Yeah,
Yep,
we won't have.
But
enough
everybody's
time to
comfortable.
really digest between now.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if Scott's there tomorrow night, so we might not get answers to some of these other questions, and, you know, let's do this properly.
okay. All right,
Anybody else is getting text on?
so we're at the
Yeah.
budget right now.
Oh, joy.
Things are doing okay.
So there's no real change from here, except that we now have more notes, right, from the last time? This is just, the addition is that we have more explanatory notes, is my understanding, from the sheet that we had.
I didn't think
At
it
the
was
last
any
meeting.
new notes, really.
Oh, I thought there was a couple of new notes in it, or maybe I'm looking, I had an earlier version,
Oh,
so.
yeah, so I don't see. Do you have,
No, it's the
Six.
same, yeah, I mean, it's the same
Oh.
copy you have, I just printed it out larger.
yeah, I like your print better. Okay, so I had some questions about some of the money, let's use, the first one is assessors.
Okay.
So just to, I'm just questioning, the rate, so let's look at the raise line. So if I take assessors' salaries, I'm just curious what that means, 95,208 times, or let's see, wait, sorry, 6976 divided by 95,208. We're talking about 7%, 7.32.
Right, but you're also
Percent?
talking new hire too, so, isn't it the first year of the new assessor?
Well, this is for next year.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
And what's this increased maintenance contract price? Is another question, because we have, do we really need, I'm just questioning because we actually, this is, I still question that $20,000 line item that is for a consultant. You know, what does the consultant
Oh,
do?
okay.
Right, because these are some things that are new this year.
So is that number in the 45,000?
The consultant, the
20,000?
20,000 should be in the 45,000, yes. There is a $20,000 consultant we have in there.
And that's a brand new item.
Yeah. We never used to have a consultant, so I'm thinking,
Wasn't that a short-term thing to help with the transition?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think that's, I mean, I don't think it's a one-year thing. Assessor would be. Here it is. Yeah. Software maintenance, we already have maintenance in there like we started it was 13,000 in '23, then in '24 we spent 12,000, we voted 15,000, we requested 18,000, but we only gave her 15. So my thinking is they really needed, they're putting it back to what they originally requested, was the 18.
Says the contract price here, so.
Yeah, so we recommended less, trying to get the budget to balance. and they're going back up to what they really needed. But then we still have that $20,000 consultant in here, contracted services. But then again, one of the people, sorry, Peter.
No, it's
So
okay.
I'm looking at this copy
Yeah,
for the assessors, and it had,
45 to 20.
with those two for requested wages, this was the recommended 87,790.
and I believe when we were doing this,
232
we were also, they didn't
That's
have an
original.
assistant.
Right.
Have they hired an assistant since?
Don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if that's still one of the ones that we could
Well, I mean,
be
those are-
pending, or if they did hire that assistant.
Well, I mean, that's the other
Yeah, it'd be
concern
82,
about
'cause it-
looking at the
Yeah.
unfilled
82,
positions
probably
and cutting them back is nobody has really gone through the list of, are any of these things we should hire? You know, I mean, I think, you know, we have an obligation to get certain work done. And, you know, my concern is that we go, whatever those jobs are, let's prioritize and then see if there's somewhere else we could, you know, where we could, you know, find those funds, because we may have empty positions with some of the, you know, we have people who've moved on, we have some positions that we may really need, you know, especially if they're revenue related in terms of, and certainly an assessor's a revenue related position.
Yeah, but we're not, so we're still spending money, but
Yeah.
we can do some contracted out stuff, and maybe
Yeah.
we need to look at more contracted out
Okay.
versus positions. All right, so that was just, so we wanted, so that was on that, the one ahead of it, the accountant, that's just a new contract. I don't really think that we completely outsource, so that's an outsource, so that's what it is.
Mhm.
We'll come back to select board, because that's the biggest one that I have a lot of questions on, the select board one, but the next one, was the treasurer,
So
so,
they're paying 122,000 for an accountant, an outside accountant, or that's what they're wanting to pay?
122, we got just a new account, they did change the accountant this year.
Yeah.
They have changed some. So I'm on 145, I'm on the treasurer now, so 11,460
7%.
divided, you got 7%?
7%.
So that's,
From 11,046 to the 162.
yeah, so that's at 7%.
Yep.
Software beta.
So the next one would be tax collector,
I got .043,
four point,
0.043, 4%.
4%.
This is where
So-
we're at here,
Here's the question, how come
60 there.
assessors, treasurers are at 7% and collector is at 3%?
I thought that the treasurers included the fact that the position had increased responsibilities as financial, there were some new duties added to the treasurer's job.
Well, they did, and
Yeah.
they included, that was included in here because the treasurer was at, and the finance director, I believe, this should be, finance director, in 23 was at 78,000, and 24 was at 80,000. Now, they did have some money in the stipend in this under select board, which they did move over, but now we are going up to, so I believe it's in there, because we are going from what was done in 25 voted, just under 75,000. But if I add in the assistant, okay, 75, so 75 plus the assistant, that's another 30. Right, so that's 100,
105.
105, so it's 105, and then we're at 151, and then we go to 162. So I think it's in there. I think it's in there.
Yeah, I have the breakdown from the
Yeah.
2026 recommended. It went up, 2025. It said voted 74,854, and then 2026 recommended was 99,013. Then you've got the assistant treasurer, 52,213. And then you've got tuition meetings, financial services, software maintenance, office supplies, mileage, dues, surety bonds, borrowing fees.
Okay, so I think that's just a question we have to figure out where anything that when we took care of 26, when we did this budget, those increases had already been done.
Mhm.
Like when we talked about,
So it's in there.
yeah, it's in there. So I don't know, these would be different, okay? So human resources. That one, big questions because it's a net number, so I don't, because they're taking away in human resources, they're taking away part of the job, but then they're also paying someone else that's in another department to help, some of that money. And then there's also raises in there, so I don't really, I can't figure out that number at all. Yeah. So then we have, Peter, you're slowing down.
Town clerk was, .047.
4.7?
Yeah.
4%?
4%, yeah, little under
4%
5.
and the town clerk.
447.
And then other salaries would have been, I think that's a new person, a different person for other salaries in the office. I think that's the assistant. And I think that's something off there. Because I think that's 9%,
Yep, almost 10.
almost 10%.
Mhm.
So there's gotta be, there's a different person in there.
Everyone else is.
Okay.
Fires, 0.
So we have nothing for police, nothing for fire. Now, police, the reason why they have nothing, my understanding is because they already knew what their raises or what they would be.
Yeah, they were already
Already
included, they were already
included.
included, right,
But fire was not.
right.
So I don't know why we didn't put anything in for fire out of,
I think it's still,
Because-
have they done it yet?
I don't know, but
I
if
don't
they're,
think, because there's some still, I thought there were still some in progress. So, they put in the ones that they could and, don't know.
minus, if they're the only department that's missing, I'm just, okay, so we don't have,
Well, we can ask tomorrow night. I'm
yeah,
sure
so,
the chief will be
so
there, too.
also raises for dispatch, I don't
Yeah.
see. Or it is in there and I just don't understand.
I thought dispatch was with the police, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Because they're also
Also,
cutting the one, yeah.
I
police.
can't understand, who knows, I don't understand inspections either, because it's, did they get was there a raise in this, was there not, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was during the time of when the building inspector had left, so maybe.
So maybe
revenue
they
said
don't
we-
need a raise because they haven't even been here the full time, so maybe there is no raise because it
Right.
switched.
Could be.
That would make sense. That's just highway, they talk about raises, but we don't know exactly what the percentage, we can't figure that out. And, yeah, the same with highway. Board of Health, see what we got.
I missed that one, sorry. .048, almost 5%.
Then we have Council on Aging. That one, I would be curious on how that would work, because they're missing a big, you know, we can't do it on that dollar amount, I wouldn't think. I wonder what that is. What's,
5%.
that's 5%? So that's 5%, but how can you do it on the 206? Because the 206 is including the director, which is an almost $85,000 position. Now, I'm guessing we probably did some type of, I mean, the interim director's probably somewhere in there. Maybe there's something going there, but not the whole position. So,
Could be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have library.
Library got 2%, and I'm sure that is a total of all the employees that they have.
It's 2%.
Right, 2%.
And Park and Rec,
Almost 5.049.
okay. And that's that. So now back to select board. That's the one that confuses me.
What, did they took that number and divvied it up down below?
Right, that was the redistribution of the raises that they had put a pool together
Yep.
to cover.
It's
So-
the 67,000 we're talking about?
Yeah, that's
And
split
is
up
that-
to all those.
And is that done this year? Is that it? Are we even to those salary
Compensation.
compensation studies? Are we done, or is this gonna keep on?
But I have no idea where you come up with, the question is,
Did you-
$370,000 in select board that we have here that we, where does that number come from? Right? So $370,000. We minus off,
Now it's down to 302.
302.
What would that be, Jennifer?
okay, so that would be some, that,
Yeah, because Jennifer works, she's under select board, right?
yep, that's the easy one to figure out.
Yeah.
So let's minus off Jennifer. Okay,
Yeah, right here.
oops. Now I'm down to 310. Let's say there's other salaries, maybe that's,
Does Dee Dee work over there at all, or?
I don't
So
know.
you got admin, and then there's a procurement line item.
She's under Linda now, though.
Yeah, Dee Dee's under
Dee Dee's
Linda.
under
So
Linda.
I don't know who other is, maybe it's Peter,
If you could select.
because he's
Oh,
doing
sorry.
Yeah,
minutes.
it could be.
I don't know.
Other select board.
But
salaries
let's
would
just
be-
put
Just
the,
ask the question.
we'll just ask, but let me minus off
Right.
22,000 for that. Okay, it's a part-time spot.
Jennifer would be.
So now I'm down to 288,000. Now we have, in here, we have budgeted 126, but I think budgeted coming out of here is 72,000 that we're using. Because a lot of Mike's pay is coming out of the police budget. So the only portion of his pay coming out of town administrator salary, I believe, is 72,000 out of the 126. So there's 44,000, whether or not, right there. And then what's with this 180?
45,000.
So we have
I'm sorry, where are you getting the 180 from?
the
That's
180,
in there, okay.
that's
They
the,
just asked for it?
that's the salaries.
Okay.
180, that's the raises, right? The
This is the
180?
20, this is 25, right?
No, this is our 26 budget
Okay.
that
Oh,
we
it is
did.
26, okay.
Our 26 budget?
Yeah.
It's page 24, Peter.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure out where this number came from. Right, so now if I did that, and I
I
minus,
didn't bring my.
you
budget.
take it here,
Just
sorry,
look.
yeah, please. 72, that's 216, minus 180.
Town agent,
That might be.
Well, you got all
if I-
these,
if
I mean, all of
if-
these are in that category though, aren't
If I
they?
add in, no, not these are expenses. So it should be just the
Just these,
the
okay.
top line. So if I add all these, that's probably comes up to the, maybe comes up to the 370. Okay, so my question is,
Three, yep, three, almost, yeah.
so my question is, so if the question is 72, we have out of here, so that gives us 44, and out of here, we have 180. So 44 and 180, but we only took, minused out 67, so we have quite a bit in this select board budget, I believe.
Unless
Am I
that,
off?
unless the
Not really
balance of it is
Town
is
administrator?
waiting on the, well, it could be the town administrator, and the
Full-time.
other could be that they have not settled all the raises or negotiations with the unions, because there are some unions I think we're still in negotiations with.
Well, then,
It just seems
we
like
shouldn't
that's
have put
nonstop.
in,
There's always some
right?
sort of
Not sure.
negotiation,
I'm
that's all
not
we
sure
hear
if
all
that's
year is
the-
a negotiation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good to dig, but honestly, we're not gonna get any.
We really
No,
need
we're
to
not.
talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's where I'm coming up with these numbers. So, here's the other thing that, I know what when we get down to this amount, one of the thing is, we're questioning letting go of the firefighters, right? And to budget this year, the last time I think I spoke to the chief, we're like 109,000 he needed to come up with to finish off this year in salaries. And I'm just saying, there's quite a bit of money right here.
Of any other cuts other than,
And are there
Well,
any
we
other?
don't know if there's a lot of money there.
Right.
We
need
don't
to
know, there
Right.
could be.
We don't know.
We don't
okay?
know.
I mean, I don't think they're hiding money there.
I don't think-
there's just,
It
I'm not
goes to
saying
free-
you're saying that.
It goes to free
It
cash.
goes to free cash anyway, but
It goes
I
to-
I believe that when we talk to them, they will explain what this is, okay? And we don't have Linda here to do that tonight.
Oh, I definitely
Yeah.
don't think there's money hiding. I'm
Right.
just saying because it's all here. I'm just saying that I think that there is more money here. And what this money is gonna do is just end up going to free cash, which we do need.
Desperately.
Yeah, but we don't wanna budget with free cash either. So coming next year, we don't wanna just rely on that free cash to budget.
And that's an issue too, I've been seeing this going on for several years, we're taking the free cash that's certified in the current year,
Right.
and we're using it for the current year.
Right.
Typically you get it certified and you bank it, and it's used in a subsequent year, but that's not the way it's done here in Hadley, I guess. And it's a whole different process than what I worked under for years, where you have a certification, which typically takes place in the fall, right about now. That money is used in the following year. And also, what if you had a true emergency during the year?
Right.
They said, we're using it right away, we have nothing to take care of some kind of unforeseen, that none of us can even think of, some kind of an emergency that pops up, where we
Yeah.
could have at least that pool to tap into if need be.
Well, I remember when I first started, we were upside down about 500,000, and we were using anticipated free cash.
Right.
That's.
And then at COVID, we got out of that. We cut the budget quite a bit. Then all of a sudden, we also got ARPA money to help us with the replacement of the monies that we weren't getting from the meals and rooms tax and
Right.
all that, so that helped. And then we got in a better spot, and we weren't using free cash, we stopped it, and we weren't using it, and we even had some roll over, because we didn't use it all. So we were using last year's free cash, and we didn't even use all of it. So we were in a great spot.
That's how it should have stayed probably.
But-
Right, but the world changed on
But
us,
I don't
okay?
know.
We had inflation, runaway inflation, we had unanticipated, everybody did, costs of healthcare. And that has just shot every budget. There was an article in the Boston Globe about this, about the perfect storm of hitting small towns in Massachusetts right now, well, everywhere really. but of course they don't even report on Massachusetts. And then there was an article in yesterday's Springfield paper about the problem of procuring large emergency equipment like fire trucks, that there's a 2 to 3 year or 4 year waiting period, plus a ladder truck now is $2 million. You know, pumpers are, you know, I mean, just the prices have gone, you know, astronomical.
Well, the
So-
state's been diverting money elsewhere
Mhm.
that could have been used, kicked back to the cities
Right.
and towns.
Yes, but nevertheless, they weren't giving us that money anyway, so in this perfect storm, we're pretty much where we are with a little bit of revenue increase every year, between 2.5 and our local receipts, but the forces on us, and the fact that we were expanding our fire department and using that, we never put that in our budget, has put us in a very difficult position right now.
You know, see, that's probably what, things like that, all this that happened,
All at once.
if it was addressed 3 or 4 years ago,
Yes.
we wouldn't have had the situation
Mhm.
that we had last
Absolutely.
month, and wouldn't have split the town in half, too.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that all that started in these controls, maybe there should have been a little bit more controls
Mhm.
that had, it wouldn't be easy, I admit it, but it'd be a lot easier than the way it is gonna be now.
Yeah,
Well, if we put the fire department in the budget 4 or 5 years ago when we started this process, we would have free cash and stabilization money in place now that we wouldn't have spent, hopefully, with on other stuff we might have accumulated. But right now, we would just be dealing with the $250,000 in increased cost of employment, and we'd be dealing with this unknown, you know, this sudden hit with the 850, whatever it was, 850, 860 in health insurance.
mhm.
Okay, and we would be in a better position to handle it. And unfortunately, we are in this position that we're in, and we have a large hole to fill.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have some pretty robust revenues relative to our neighbors, and it's still, you know,
It's still a
we're
problem.
gobbling it all up, but, you know, we asked for an override, and they did not. And it's unfortunate.
All the neighbors are, I mean, Northampton's gonna go for an override, they've said that.
They
Hatfield,
may.
they're, I used to live there, believe me, they're going for an override. You know,
All right. So what do we think about this? I mean, we're,
I think we should ask the
We
questions.
need more
tomorrow night.
information.
Yeah, we need more information, let's not spin our wheels.
okay,
I mean, there's some numbers here that seem high, and we should ask why they're where they are, just to get clarification.
well, I,
You know,
and I'm fine with all the numbers, and
Yeah.
each one is different, but I
Right.
just don't understand where they're coming from.
I understand it, I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm not questioning what we've
Yeah.
done here, I'm just saying that we don't have.
Just don't know.
We just don't know, so we can just, you know, to me, at this point, I think we've done what we accomplished tonight. If you
Yeah.
want, I'm happy to make my usual motion, and we can all go home, and then tomorrow night we'll adjourn,
Yep.
re-adjourn, or reconvene, I should say, and we can ask these questions and get some answers, hopefully.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Paul, do you have anything, since you won't be there tomorrow, anything that you particularly want us to
Well,
ask?
My concern is the bottom line, maybe I'm not reading this properly, but I'm looking at this sheet here, and it says FY '26 voted budget, and then there's a FY '26 STM '25 amended budget, and those numbers are exactly the same. So how can the budget that was voted in the spring be the exact same dollar amount?
Well, because the override.
Because of the cuts, too.
It didn't
State-
pass, but I thought it was passed with the understanding that we were gonna need the override in the spring,
They did, but what
and that's the way it was presented.
Hmm.
it was, but then they voted to not fund positions, so they took all the money that would have been in the positions, they made adjustments to back out. It also includes the removal of some of the positions in the fire department, so when you take all those out, she was able to balance the budget with no change. That's what this printout is.
So
Okay.
this number here, for the voted budget in '25, is a lesser amount than what was actually voted, is that what I'm hearing?
So, let's see,
The 22,758?
Do you have this sheet?
No, I only have this.
Okay, this is the one that you need.
This is
Here,
all
hold
I
on,
was
hold on.
given.
Neither one.
Oh,
There's-
no,
there's-
it's the one that's right there, in your
Here.
hand, in your
The
other
left-
hand.
left
The other
hand.
hand.
That one.
Yeah, it's just the same page, it's just the other side.
Yeah, you got it,
Yeah.
you got it.
So you got a 22,758.
And then there's
Yeah.
some So Paul, are you saying the amount was adjusted after the town meeting? in
Yes.
the spring?
Yes.
Yes, that's what all the red is.
Yep, after the
That's,
vote.
that's showing you, and the notes are out in the outside column, but then
He
Okay.
doesn't
But
have
you
red,
don't
he
have
just
the-
doesn't
here.
have
I didn't
color.
get all the
Yeah,
details.
yeah.
I printed two of them.
I just got
And
this
here's
information.
here's the big
a
print
day ago.
edition, you may have it. Well,
It's the same thing.
yeah, I know, but it's a lot
It's
easier with the
colored.
red.
You
so
know
can
what
see
the
where
red is and where
changes
the
are.
cuts are, or the non-filled positions.
The color does help.
Yeah,
That helps a lot.
okay? Yeah,
So
Yeah.
the town meeting amount was higher than what's shown here as being the town
Mm.
meeting voted budget.
Yeah.
Confusing.
But I understand, no, wait, when we had the expenses come through. So they thought of that. By moving those expenses.
okay, can I make a
Yep.
motion?
and cutting it.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Okay,
A motion that we adjourn.
Second.
motion by Paul, second by Peter, all in favor?
Aye.